We were given a script written for a world that no longer exists. They promised that if we sacrificed our youth and collected credentials, we would secure a seat at the table. So we ran. Mastering skills with an invisible expiry date, chasing a currency devaluing in our hands. Now, institutions tell us our anxiety is a glitch. They offer meditation apps to cure a structural collapse, demanding a heroic resilience to paper over a broken machine. But praise is a poor substitute for a future. We are looking at a race where the only price is more exploitation, and we are doing the only thing the machine cannot process. We are refusing to run.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So this video is about something that I as a college student go through regularly. And thinking about the future, it really gives me a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And I'm pretty sure not only me, a lot of people all over the world from my generation feel the same way. I think about this topic whenever I wake up, I go to college and then I create content and then I also do my internship and a lot of other things. And even if the people who are not doing all of this, they go and they go to their college, spend the entire day there and they submit their assignment and the professors are checking if they have used AI or not. And people who have already graduated, they are not getting good jobs out of it. They are not getting anything out of it.
To 200 different jobs and has gotten 0 replies yet.
So yeah, here I am making this video. I hope you got the title for today's video from the introduction. So today's video is basically about how the old education system is destroying Gen Z. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the AI disconnect. So this came into my mind when there was this debate going on. And this is the most common debate, if you ask me nowadays, that do you think AI can replace humans? And there are a lot of people who are with it, and there are a lot of people who are against it.
It's being, say, 2031, digital intelligence will exceed the sum of all human intelligence. That there will be, in 5 years, let's say at least 100 million humanoid robots, but maybe a billion.
But then I read this quote by Professor Khani from Harvard Business School, and they said that AI will not replace humans. Okay, AI will not replace humans, right? But humans who use AI will replace the humans who don't use it.
And what I say to people, from managers, leaders, and workers, is AI is not going to replace humans, but humans with AI are going to replace humans without AI. And this is definitely the case with generative AI.
And I honestly couldn't agree more. The world has changed a lot today, and I'm not talking about how it has changed generationally from boomers to millennials to Gen Z. The institution, the educational system, the people, the adults, they need to realize that AI is there. It is here and it is going to be here for a long time now. You cannot just remove it. And there is a massive gap between this whole stage and what the real world requires.
Our education system is predicated on the idea of academic ability. And there's a reason. The whole system was invented around the world. There were no public systems of education really before the 19th century. They all came into being to meet the needs of industrialism. So the hierarchy is rooted on two ideas. Number one, that the most useful subjects for work are at the top. So you were probably steered benignly away from things at school when you were a kid, things you liked, on the grounds you would never get a job doing that. Is that right? Don't do music, you're not going to be a musician. Don't do art, you won't be an artist. Benign advice. Now, profoundly mistaken. The whole world is engulfed in a revolution.
And I think of it in this way that the economy, the entire economy, it went through a system change, a big system update. But the education system is still teaching us the old version, and that is not helpful. So there was this old promise, right, that if you memorize the facts well, and if you write beautiful essays, if you write, if you know all the perfect formulas, basically if you become good at all of these basic things and more, then your future is secured. But today, the AI tools can handle those tasks in seconds. And we have to accept it. We cannot just live in denial. You have to accept the fact that what humans spend years learning, AI can do it in a few seconds.
The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? Like a lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. If you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you, what's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? But what to do?
And the Gen Z, my generation, we see this, right? We see big layoffs in all the companies because of AI, and we realize that all the basic tasks that we have been learning, basic skills, entry requirements that we have been learning, all the things that we have learned for a job, they are not enough anymore. Everything that we are training for, it is disappearing. But instead of our education system trying to teach the students AI effectively, they are panicking about it. They are banning the tools and they are spending thousands of rupees on AI deduction. So instead of teaching this generation how to fly this new aircraft, how to navigate this new world which has AI in it, these guys are punishing us, are getting mad at us that why are you not using a paper map? Because it's of no use, it's of no help now. They are getting mad at us for not using an older aircraft when the latest version exists. And there was even this article in the Economic Times which was titled Students Seek AI-Proof Majors Amid Job Market Fears. And that article very clearly states that almost 70% of the students look at AI as a threat to their jobs. And the article also states that part of the challenge for them is that the people, the professors, their mentors, who the students would generally turn to for advice, like even their parents or their professors, their advisors, they don't have any answers anymore. Students are having to navigate all of this on their own without a GPS. I'll explain this to you with the help of a movie, right? So there's this movie which is called Her. It came out in 2013 and it is basically a movie about a ghostwriter, right? And he writes really heartfelt messages for people. And
Was when you first turned on the lights and woke me up, and we started this adventure together. Happy anniversary, my love, my friend till the end, Loretta.
Great.
Chris, my best friend. How lucky am I that I met you 50 years ago?
Dear Nana.
How lucky.
And by the end of it, he falls in love with Samantha, who is actually an artificial intelligence. The point I want to make through this movie is that what his job is, we don't need it anymore. I know that AI cannot exactly write what we want, but the AI can give us a very beautiful template that we can edit, right? The guy who is Theodore's job is literally the manifestation of what the LLMs are basically the large language models. So his job is literally what the LLMs can do instantly. And honestly, it is the ultimate gaslight. Why would a company pay me 15K to write letters, for example, taking this movie? Why would a company give me 15K to write letters when they can just opt for ChatGPT Premium at 2,000 rupees a month and do it? Why would they pay me 15K? And would I accept it if they give me 2K like ChatGPT? No.
Economics of this. If you can place a $30,000, $40,000 a year worker, which you have to pay every year, with a one-time payment of $25,000 for a robot that can work longer hours, the rapid replacement of certain types of jobs, how worried should the world be about that?
And what our education system is doing, it's the ultimate gaslight. They are training us to be a machine and then they are getting mad that the machine can do it better than us. Obviously it can't. So I go to the university and they use AI deductors in the science. And a lot of times they deduct AI to this person, this person. You guys keep saying that AI is not perfect, AI cannot replace humans, and it's not perfect, and it gives wrong answers, and ChatGPT gives sources that do not even exist. You know your deductors can also be wrong, right? Why do you always think that the AI deduction is correct? And like students who spend hours and hours opening this and finding synonyms of the words and keep turning in the assignment, and you are deducting it with AI, and you are not even consulting the students and giving them low marks. It's not good. You gotta accept that it is there in the world, and you gotta find a way to work with it. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is the overeducation trap. So now the parents and teachers and everyone from the previous generations, millennials, boomers, they all tell the Gen Z all over the world, right, that keep your head down, study very well, and you will succeed in life. Sacrificing, you will get a top degree, you will graduate, you will have a successful life. What is a successful life? A middle class life. You'll get that if you do all of those things. The reality today is that the supply of good degrees has completely outpaced the supply for jobs.
The supply of workers with a bachelor degree is increasing, but at the same time, partly because of AI, the demand for workers with a bachelor degree is not increasing anymore. So we have a glut of people with a bachelor degree. Their wage growth is growing more slowly, and with AI continuing to automate more and more jobs, I expect that the trend to continue.
And a degree is no more even a differentiator. It is literally just a baseline requirement to even apply for a job. And this is actually the degree inflation or the overeducation trap. I'll explain this term to you. So think there is this huge game of musical chairs going on from a lot of generations, and suddenly, midway, the rules have changed completely. So for decades, the economic formula was really simple, right? Go to high school, study well, get good grades, get a degree, do a lot of hard work, and you will live a middle class life or an elite life. Now, the parents and the institutions, the generations before us, they passed down this exact handbook. The millennials, the boomers, they all passed down this exact handbook to us that they had been following. So they had been playing this game of musical chairs, but when it was our turn to play it, the rules completely changed. They're not the same anymore. The rules changed in a way that they added a lot more people in the game but did not increase the number of chairs. So now a lot of people are left without chairs. Chairs are other jobs, and the people playing are basically the people who are looking after the jobs. So while the demand for education, higher education, university, for graduates, masters, it increased, it skyrocketed, the demand for more employees did not increase at the same rate. So now the thing is that these top degrees, they actually just commercialize. They are no longer special anymore. Every second person, every third person has that level of education. Every second person is good in studies. Today, a bachelor's degree does not guarantee you a seat at the table. The best that graduate degree can do is make you apply for that job so that you can enter that building and then wait in the queue with 10,000 other people who have the exact same degree as you. There is this movie, Parasite, which came in 2018, and I'm very proud of this movie. It's an Oscar-winning movie. So, although mainly this movie is about the difference in the social class of people, but a very important thing to note here is that the guy, he's very smart, he's very capable, he's street smart, he has a high intelligence, and the only thing that's stopping him from taking a job, getting a job, is that formal degree. So no matter the amount of brain, how much brain you have, unless you have that degree, you will not even apply for a job, right?
대학생인 척하라는 거야? 기우야, 한번 빠져보자. 네가 군대 가기 전에 2번, 군대 제대하고 2번, 도합 4번의 수능을 봤잖아? 문법, 어휘, 작문, 회화. 솔직히 씨발 잉글리시? 네가 10배는 더 잘 가르칠 걸 매일같이 술 처먹는 대학생 씹새끼들보다?
그건 그렇긴 하지.
그래.
근데 그 집에서 날 받겠냐 이 말이지. 난 대학생이 아닌데.
구라를 좀 치지 뭐.
야, 넌 이 좋은 실력으로 왜 미대는 맨날 떨어지냐?
아이씨, 죽을래. 선생님, 중요한데요? 네. 아, 나 그거 좀 줘.
오, 마무리, 새빨간. 야, 서울대학교 문서 위주학과 뭐 이런 거 없나? 기정이에 수석 입학하겠다. 예? 그죠? 얘 실력이.
At the same time, that guy's sister, she made a degree, like she literally forged it. She made it on Photoshop, and then she did not have any education. She did not know anything about it. She didn't learn anything about it. She just forged a degree and she got a job. The guy lied about his credentials and got a job.
제가 생판 아무것도 모르고 그죠? 아, 진정하세요. 침착하자. 이게 다 다솜이 마음속의 블랙박스인 겁니다. 그 검은 상자를 저와 함께 열어보시겠어요, 어머니? 열고 싶습니다, 선생님. 그러면 월화목금 주 4회 2시간씩 수업 필요하고요. 이게 단순한 과외 수업이 아니고 미술치료 개념이잖아요, 그쵸? 그렇죠. 그렇기 때문에 저의 급여가 상당히 높은 수준으로 책정이 될 것 같은데 괜찮으시겠어요? 제가 더 감사하죠.
So it doesn't matter how capable or skilled you are, and that's what this movie shows. We are living in a system where the credentials matter more than the capability. Now there is another kdrama, Korean drama, which is called Sky Castle. This S here stands for the Seoul National University, and this drama is the ultimate representation of how bad the competition has become today.
엄마가 내 맘을 알아? 팔짱만 끼고 서서 울백울백지랄 소리만 해대면서 내 맘을 아냐고! 내가 어떻게 되든지 말든지 힘들어 죽든지 말든지 서울대만 가면 장땡이지.
It's so toxic for us. It's really difficult for us. And honestly, the education system, firstly, is not at all about learning. I have completed my school. I am halfway through college. Never once in my life have I felt that any of those years that I spent in school, any of the days that I spent in school, any of the days I spent in college, they were ever about learning. None of those days were about learning. It's just a violent sorting mechanism. You know, they're training you every day to see how good you can score so that you can be differentiated from the people who score bad or who score average. It's all just a sorting mechanism. That is it. In schools, when I'm from India, I'll give you an example from here. From here, after we finish the 12th grade, we have a board examination. And in the board examination, the teacher does not check the papers. The papers actually go out and they are checked by a separate entity altogether. And then marks are distributed. So basically, it's about the school, right? About the school's capability, how the students are doing, because the checking is not internal, right? Outsiders are coming and they're checking how good your students are. So when we are in 11th and 12th grade, the school never looks at us as people. They look at us as 100. This kid will get 100. Oh, let's teach them well. They will look at you, call you 100. Oh, you are a 70. Oh, you are a 30. Oh, you got a pass. That's how bad it is. By the end of it, we are not even humans anymore. And you know, we as Gen Z, we go through this horrible experience firsthand. We live it. And then they're like, you run this race. You get good marks in school, in the SATs, in the boards, in gaoko, and you enter the top university, right? You enter the top university and you will get the best job. What will happen after getting the job? Okay, so basically you run this marathon. It starts from nursery. You run till you get a job. So like, job is the finishing line, right? Okay, so I have reached the finish line. Now I have a job. Now what's my price? Oh, your price is another marathon, which is lifelong, and which will give you even more anxiety and trap you and suffocate you and you will probably be pushed out of this marathon in the middle because because AI is gonna run instead of you. That's what's going on. So if you win the race, your prize is more anxiety in a highly stagnant corporate world. And as I told you, Dr. Bryan Caplan said that the job market is a game of musical chairs, and higher education has simply increased number of people without adding any chairs.
Namely, if your school pays because you jump through a bunch of hoops and then you signal or show that you are awesome, right? And then the function of education is not really to transform you from an unskilled worker into a skilled worker. It's to go and put a stamp on your forehead saying, gold star, you are a grade A worker, a prime worker, right? And you're like, what would education signal? Well, so if you do well in school, you're really showing a package of desirable traits. You're showing that you've got intelligence. You're showing you got work ethic. And also, very importantly, you're showing you've got conformity. You're not just a smart person who works hard. You're a person who applies your intelligence diligently in the direction that is socially approved.
And the last thing that I want to talk about is just a continuation of the first two things that I have talked about, and it's the mental health crisis. Now, because of the following reasons that I just told you, Gen Z faces great level of anxiety, of depression, and burnout.
Our adolescent years now require us to take forced rest days so we can recover from pressure. We can get so overwhelmed that we take what most people lovingly call mental health days. We call in sick so we can simply get a day to recover from life. It can have to cause more problems to keep up with classes, but it can genuinely help us decompress by calming down from the building pressure. Today I talked to you about the envelopment
And the institutional response, the response of the adults is to just practice mindfulness. You should do meditation. You should be more resilient. You're too soft. You feel too much. Bro, no. This is not a glitch in our brain. This is not the problem of our brains. It's a very valid and rational response to the world that we are living in today. It's a very rational response to the system of today. So basically, we are playing a video game, and video game is our lives, the Gen Z's lives. We are playing a video game where the difficulty level is impossible. The rules change constantly all the time. And even if you win, the prize is just an empty box. And when we burn out, the adults, the millennials, boomers, the people who created this institution, they just tell us, you just need to breathe better, you need to relax, you need to eat better, you need to become more resilient. This is straight up gaslighting. This is the failure of the system that has been created over generations. And you are blaming Gen Z for it. You are blaming the individual for it. This is not an individual failure. This is a system's failure. The Gen Z mental health crisis is not an internal flaw. It's a completely logical reaction. And honestly, what do you expect of it, right? Gen Z is done. And we are rebelling. I'm so proud of it. I'll give you a few examples. Like in Africa, there's this anti-hustle culture going on.
Definitely a new phenomenon that we have seen post-COVID, and it's actually a subtle form of resignation while you are actually employed. And how we actually see it is that a lot of employees and individuals in general in our country and globally, they just disengage. They disengage emotionally, they disengage mentally, and in some instances, they avoid coming to the office. They disengage physically. And it affects overall performance of the individuals or employees in general. And of course, it's linked to the declining mental state of our employees in general, but as also indicated, it is a global phenomenon.
And I'll explain it to you. So basically, there was this reality check that came into people. They are not delusional anymore, and they're not believing the myths that has been created over generations and generations. They are over the myths. They are refusing them. They're saying that if I'm going to be unemployed either way, I might as well be unemployed on my own terms. They're saying that the system didn't give me a job anyways, so I'm not going to burn myself down in trying to get one. I'm going to stay at home, share resources with my community, and use my voice online to call out the system's failure. This myth is the resilience born, right? For the generations, the people of Africa, they have been told that if you're poor, you are just not working hard enough. You just need to get some side hustles, some side businesses, and you just need to be an entrepreneur and you will get out of this poverty. Bro, no. They would like share inspiring stories of people who are selling vegetables 15 hours a week and paying their rent. And Gen Z is over it. They're calling this the resilience bond. The mindset has changed from I need to work hard, I need to work harder, to why do I have to work 3 jobs just to buy groceries and pay rent when the politicians live in luxury? Why? We are just so tired. The African Gen Z is just so tired of getting praised for surviving in the harsh reality that shouldn't even exist in the first place. So they are retreating from like these small jobs of selling vegetables, working 15 hours a day. They're not doing the traditional physical labor, rather they're putting their energy into the digital world that where they can create content, they can voice their opinions so that they at least have autonomy. So they're like, if we are going to be broken in a way, we might as well be broke on our own terms.
Around socioeconomic reasons or the environment that we are finding ourselves in right now. If you think about the high inflation and the impact it has on our daily lives, how it affects fuel prices, how it affects food prices and everything else in our world. And linked to that, you would know that the interest rates are definitely going to go up if the inflation is actually high. And once the interest rates are high, and what we actually see at this point in time is that a lot of people who could afford certain things 3 years ago are no longer in a position to afford the same things 3 years down the line. And also, this now leads to inability to service your debt and inability to actually meet your monthly financial obligations.
Now there was this another beautiful movement that started in China, the Lying Flat Manifesto or the opting out movement.
就是我不想这样子，我就想要去按照我自己的方式来去生活，选择我自己想要那样的，不跟随就是被迫的内卷的这种行为吧。就包括我们现在这一代，我身边的同学啊什么的，基本上都比较认可这种思想概念，比较少会有那种想要去拼搏啊、去创业或者这种精神。大家就觉得太累了，而且就是这么累也大概率会失败的，那不如就好好在家就是舒舒服服的。可能就很多年轻人就是拼命努力啊，上学上大学，然后后面就感觉这个社会跟自己想象的不一样，然后就选择就是躺平，我就这样，我这辈子就这样，就是对未来是没有希望的那种状态。
Started in April 2021 with by a young Chinese factory worker, and he posted about how he quit his job and how he was surviving with just $30 a month, and he just chose to lie flat rather than chase money. And this became a huge movement for the Gen Z. And this movement completely changed the mindset of the Gen Z. And Gen Z said that, you know what, if I cannot win the race, I might as well just not participate in it. Right? Because there's no way I'm going to win. And I told you what the price is, more anxiety, more depression in this corporate culture. So I might as well just not participate. I'll lie flat. The mindset is that this system, traditional system, for us is a total meat grinder, and I don't want to be it. So I just lie flat. I do the bare minimum at my job. I'm going to become invisible, buy nothing extravagant, and just quietly exist so that the machines and the rich people, they cannot use me. And that is like so cool. And when this movement started, a lot of people even shared their stories online about this movement, and they said that they quit their job and now they're traveling and they're earning money, very small side hustles, which is enough for them. Honestly, they're at least here. And there were a lot of posts about it, which after a while was censored. But here,
self-proclaimed rat people spend their days on their backs scrolling, almost entirely in bed and in the dark, barring the need to eat or use the bathroom.
That's how the Gen Z is rebelling, because the system has forced them to. But people said that I'm going to study till high school, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to get a master's degree, I'm going to get a job, and then I'm going to, after getting the job, it's not over. It's even more stressful. I'm not getting enough for the work I put in. So I might as well just give up the entire system. I'll come out of this system and I'll just do the bare minimum. At least I'll be happy. And I have mentioned this novel earlier also. There's this beautiful novel by Sayaka Muraka. It's called The Convenience Store Woman. And this is a Japanese novel which is about a 36-year-old woman who completely rejects the corporate societal expectations. And instead, she chooses to work a low-wage job at a convenience store forever, because this simplicity at least keeps her sane. She was like, okay, I'm getting the money, but I will go crazy if I stay in this loop, if I stay in this toxic system. So she gave it all up, and the simplicity of life, that's what made her sane. That's what kept her sane. And it is honestly such a beautiful rebellion against this hyper-capitalist society that has been created today. So lastly, I just want to say that this video is also a message, is also a request to all the people who are seeing it, that please at the end of the day, we need to stop looking at our burnout and our anxiety as a personal failure. Because it is not, it is really not. That's what I'm trying to explain through this whole video. It is a very completely valid, rational reaction to a system that is gaslighting us at every stage. For decades now, the deal was really simple. The world was really simple. You give the system your youth, you give the system your compliance, your sanity, and in return, it guaranteed you a stable middle class life, right? But that blueprint was made for a world that does not exist anymore. And we all know that it is not. The times have changed, and the millennials, the boomers, they are still in denial that yes, it has changed, and we gotta rearrange it all. We have to change the way that we have been living, because the world for which these systems, this education was made, that world does not exist anymore. So they need to come out of the denial. The real problem with this education system, the core problem, is not that it's failing to prepare us for the future. Yes, it is doing that, but that's not the core problem. The core problem is that it is fighting the future to protect itself. It's the ego. It's fighting the future just because it wanna exist. It's trying to exist in a world where it's not needed anymore at all. These people, they are banning the very AI tools that we need to master. They are charging heaps of money for the degrees that are being consistently devalued. And then they have the audacity to call us weak, to call us too sensitive when the system breaks us. That's the problem. These are the problems. Our frustration, our generation's frustration, it's not a malfunction. It's not that we are too rebellious, too crazy, and we are too spoiled, we are too entitled. No. It's just that brain realizing that we have been trained to behave like a human algorithm when a digital algorithm already exists and it does the work better and cheaper than us. Obviously, the system just wants us to believe that if we do not tick its 3 little boxes, we are a failure. We are failing in life. But when the game is rigged and the game is not being changed, then the only way is to get out of it. And that's what the Jonze is doing. We are refusing to play this old rigged game by their rules. The old factory blueprint is dead. Accept that it's dead. And it does not define our potential. You cannot define our potential with it. They are punishing us for failing to act as machines when the actual machines do exist. They are punishing us for failing a test that was designed to be failed. Because the questions are not valid anymore. Because the pattern of the test is not valid anymore. So yeah, this is it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.